Carter, love him. So like it's a my goodness. I'm stuttering. If that doesn't get you wanting to read this book, I don't know what will. But you should read this book. No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, we good? I'm a little late to the game here. It's like halfway through April and I haven't done my March wrap up yet. Well, I mean, I did actually, but this is my second time recording it because I did not like the last video. Like I didn't like it. So we're starting over. Let's just get started. Okay, so I read a total of 15 books in March. I read a lot in my spare time. I used to watch a lot of TV, like a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows. I don't do that anymore. Like, my main thing that I do to unwind and enjoy myself is reading. I prefer watching like a movie in my head. I love creating a movie in my head. It's just, it's better than watching a movie. Because, you know, you can create or you can imagine the world and how the people look like, what they're wearing, how their hair looks, the color of their eyes. Like, I do the whole thing. Most of these are ARC books that I read on my phone. So I did a lot of reading on my phone in March. I think I only read like 2 physical copies of books. One a thriller and one like a YA sad romance. First book I read in March was Love Contract by Sophie Lark. If you have not read Sophie Lark, you need to. She's great. Love her. This is a fake dating, forced proximity, I guess enemies to lovers romance, and it's her newest release. I think it came out in like February. I rated it 3.5 stars. Just because I preferred, the first book I ever read by her was The Brutal Prince, and I love that book. I believe I rated that 4 stars? 4 or 4.5. But I liked that book better than Love Contract, which is why I rated this only 3.5. But it was still really good, and I read it pretty quick. So, I recommend it. If you like, you know, the fake dating, forced proximity, you know, enemies to lovers, which is my favorite trope ever. So, you should read it. And then next I read Consider Me, which is the first book in the Playing for Keeps series by Becca Mack. And I rated this one 4.5. It's my favorite one out of the series. Absolutely loved it. Oh my goodness. Carter, love him. He is so funny, goofy, quirky. Like he's great. Oh my goodness. I love him so much. He had me laughing. Like he's just so funny. And he's like a renowned playboy. Like he was, you know, sleeping around, all that jazz, until he meets, you know, Olivia. He's drawn in by her. You know, she ends up rejecting him, wanting nothing to do with him, and that just attracts him even more. So he keeps trying to pursue her. Hence the title, Consider Me. So, like, he wants her to consider him. Anyways, yeah, okay. And it's a hockey romance. And I love hockey romances. They're my kryptonite. I love them. I love them so much. And then after that, I read Play With Me, which is the second book in the Playing for Keeps series. This one is about Garrett and Jenny. Garrett is Carter's best friend and teammate, and then Jenny is Carter's sister. So we got a brother's best friend sister trope, which I love. I love it. I love that trope. It was really good. This is actually my second favorite. My least favorite is the third one, which I'll get into that in a little bit. But this is my second favorite. I rated it 4 stars. And this is like it's also friends with benefits. So like Jenny and Garrett are like hooking up, but they're not like dating. And obviously this is all behind Carter's back. because if Carter finds out, he's not gonna be happy. But it was really good, and I love Garrett too. I love me Garrett. Love him. But I do love Carter more because he's very goofy, and I like that. I like it when the main character is like goofy. It makes the book more wholesome, you know? Because you also get his goofiness in Play With Me as well, and it's great. I love it so much. And then after Play With Me, I read, I'm probably gonna butcher this name because the title of the book is Latin, so I don't know how I'm gonna say this, but it's my first ARC read of March. Legette Lacrima. I don't know how to say that, but it's about this girl who catches her boyfriend cheating on her, and then she ends up moving away from this town. And she moves to this small town called Lost Hope, where she makes a bunch of friends, and she forms this like family with these people, and then later on down the road, she ends up meeting Cole, which is her love interest. And it's really good. It's a small town romance. There's even a little like mystery in it, which is fun. So it came out March 8th, so it's already out. So if you guys want to read it, look it up. It's Legette Lacrima by Alina Kamsa. And I'll put it on it's gonna be on the screen. It's gonna be on the screen. I'll put it over here. Okay. Oh my goodness. After that, I read Unravel Me, which is the third book in the Playing for Keeps series. Okay, so this one, I enjoyed it. Like, I liked it. Still really good. I rated it, I want to say 3.5. Yeah. Okay. It's about Alex, who is Garrett and Carter's teammate / friend, best friend, and Rosie, who is a veterinarian. And she is also a single mother. So it's got like the single parent trope in it, which I like those. I usually read the single father trope, but this one for the single mother, it was good. I enjoyed it. I read is Wild Thing by Cassie and L. Miller. I rated this 4.5 stars. It was so good. It's the first book in the Brighton family series. Mason and Carly, they have a one-night stand, not expecting to see each other ever again until they both end up in the same small town. So that's fun. And also, okay, so it's a, my goodness. I'm stuttering. And come to find out that Mason is actually best friends with Carly's brother Felix. And Mason and Felix are also colleagues. They're both doctors. So, it's fun. Brother's best friend sister trope. I seem to really like that. I feel like I read a lot of that trope in March. But I mean, I'll own up to it. I love that trope. I do. Along with Enemies to Lovers, I will stand by that trope. I will forever love that trope. I love it so much. Okay, so the next book I read is If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nolan. So, this book, I literally cried throughout the entire book. Like, I was nonstop sobbing. Oh, it was so bad. I have a picture of me literally crying. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. So you can see that literally my face is like red, my eyes. They were burning. I couldn't stop crying. I actually think I cried more during Jack's point of view, which I'm surprised. Because, I mean, I cried during, like, Autumn's point of view, but for some reason I cried more during Jack's. I don't know. But it was so sad and heartbreaking, and I won't really go into it because it is the second book of If He Had Been With Me. So, I won't go into it. And, I mean, if you like sad books, you should read these two. Oh, I rated it 4 stars, by the way. Or was it 4.5? No, I lied. I rated it 4.5. And then I read Ends of Being by Mercy Ann Summers. And this is actually my least favorite book that I read in March. I only rated it 2 stars. It's a dark romance, and I can't really tell you what it's about because honestly, I have no idea. I was really confused throughout the whole book. I don't know, I guess I didn't really get the storyline of what was trying to happen. Okay, it's about Darius and Antoinette. So I'll read you the little blurb. So this is Darius. She's an effing menace. She has no regard for her safety and dances along the tongue in the mouth of danger. A loose cannon who torments me day in and day out. She thinks I can't rise to meet her challenge. She thinks I don't know what goes on in that beautiful head of hers, but she's sorely mistaken. Mistaken about who exactly she is to me. Mistaken about how much danger she's in. And mistaken about what I can take. Challenge effing accepted. And then Antoinette. It's adorable, really, how tough Mr. Clark Kent thinks he is. In his starched shirts and cashmere sweaters, a bore to his core, he's my favorite target of torment. I love to push his buttons and see how far I can take it. But something about him calls to me. Somehow I know there is more to him than meets the eye. What will it take to make him loosen that tie and release the beast? What harm can it actually bring? I intend to find out. I mean, the blurb sounds like interesting, like it was intriguing. But I don't know, it didn't really hit for me. It could for you though, like not all books for everyone, so. The next book I read is Sweet Thing by Cassie Ann L. Miller, and it's about Felix, who is Carly's brother and Mason's best friend, and Carly Mason is from the first book, and it's also about Daphne, who is Carly's best friend. There it is again. I love these tropes. I don't know, but it was really good, very sweet. It's a fake engagement, so not fake dating, but it's a fake engagement because Felix and Daphne end up fake engaged so that Felix can take over his father's medical practice because his father doesn't think that he's serious enough to do it. Felix is known for I wouldn't say he's like a playboy, but he gets around. They call him Dr. Heartbreak. But it was really good. And then next I read Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. I rated this 4 stars. And what? This was an insane book. Absolutely insane. If you decide to read this book, look up the trigger warnings because there is definitely some trigger warnings. This is a very insane book. It's about Cora and Dean who end up in this very scary situation, and when they come out of it, they have like bonded over it, so they end up falling in love. And look up the trigger warnings. And then I read another ARC book, Essence and Runes by Taylor Lynn. This is a fantasy read, my first ARC fantasy, and I rated it 5 stars. It was perfection. It was great. I loved it. The rules of war are few. Stay alive and win. In a world of essence and runes, anything is fair game. After leading the charge to reclaim Promethea's northern border, Rhea Ontaria, a fearsome warrior and a powerful wielder of magic called Essence, is captured and held prisoner at the court of Korath. Rather than auction her off to the highest bidder, the malicious king seems to have other sinister plans in mind. Just as all hope seems lost, an unforeseen rescue comes from none other than the cunning Prince of Korath himself, Orion Valor. As Rhea slowly begins to trust Orion, they join forces. In their pursuit to end the 300-year war that has terrorized both their kingdoms, an unexpected spark ignites between them, yearning to be set ablaze. There's just one problem. Rhea is already entangled with the Queen of Promethea. Spurning her powerful lover could extinguish any chance of peace talks while also risking Rhea's claim as heir to the wealthiest region in the realm. Can Rhea resist the force driving her and Orion together, or does fate have other plans? Mortal enemies turn into unexpected allies. An arcane power rises. The adventure of a lifetime begins. And then right here, okay. For lovers of Throne of Glass, A Broken Blade, and From Blood and Ash, Essence and Runes is the gripping start of an epic romantic fantasy. Just from that, I mean, I'm telling you, if you love Throne of Glass or Broken Blade and From Blood and Ash, read this book. I have not read any of those books, but it's saying that right here, so read it. I want to read those books. They're on my TBR, on my list, but I haven't gotten there yet. Plus, I'm a little intimidated by Throne of Glass because it's a pretty big series. To really read it. I absolutely loved it. It was so good. Next I read is His and Hers by Alice Feeney, which is the only thriller book that I read. I want to continue reading Alice Feeney. I really want to read Rock, Paper, Scissors next by her. Like, I hear that's a lot of people's favorite. So I definitely want to do that. But this one was really good. It had me second guessing myself a lot. Sorry if you hear this like loud noise right now. The heater just kicked on. So that's what you're hearing. I'm so sorry. Anyways, it had me second guessing myself quite a bit. Like, okay, so about 100 pages in, I thought I knew, or like I suspected who the killer was. Because he was very suspicious. There was something fishy going on. Yeah, I was wrong. When I finally found out who the killer was at the end of the book, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, what? I honestly felt like it made more sense of who I actually thought it was in the beginning. I feel like it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense about who the killer was, but I mean, it was still really good. I enjoyed the book. Next I read is Plaything by Cassie N.L. Miller, which is the third book in the Brighton family series. And it's about Ronan Brighton, who is Carly's brother, hockey player. And it's about Nikki, who is Mason's cousin. Alright, I'll read you the first, just tiny little paragraph of this blurb. He's a playboy hockey captain who can't seem to stay out of trouble. Totally not my type. So my new job as his live-in assistant should be a breeze, right? Psst, please, allow me to introduce Ronan Brighton. I love that. I love the first paragraph of this blurb. That's great. Anyway, so that basically sums it up. Nikki is his live-in assistant, so it's like forced proximity. And he's a playboy hockey guy. So, who just can't seem to stay out of trouble. If that doesn't get you wanting to read this book, I don't know what will. But you should read this book. You should just read this series. Next I read is Lady Luck by Lane O'Neill, which is another arc book. Get ready to be swept away in a tale of love, luck, and resilience in Lady Luck, a contemporary romance that's as atmospheric as a Mississippi sunset and as thrilling as a spin of the roulette wheel. She basically grew up at this casino, and she works there. Fortune may favor the bold, but lately it hasn't favored Bree Faust. Raised in the neon-lit embrace of Fortuna Casino and Resort, Bree is a 22-year-old with more than a smattering of freckles and a sense of loyalty that runs deep. When change is thrust upon her again, she finds herself at a major crossroads and is torn between embracing her legacy as Lady Luck or drawing a card for a new life filled with unknowns. Enter Vin Lott, a 29-year-old with a fierce protective streak and a heart scarred by fire. A reserved software engineer moonlighting at his parents' new restaurant, Vin is the steady rock Bree never knew she needed. When fate brings them together in the chaos of the casino, Bree faces the biggest gamble of her life, trusting Vin to be both her anchor and safe harbor in the greatest storm she has ever faced. As obstacles loom from Bree's demanding grandmother, the return of an antagonistic former friend, and the temporary nature of Vin's stay on the coast, their love story unfolds against the glittering backdrop of a casino resort. Will Bree and Vin best the odds, or will they lose it all in the grand game of love? It was really good. I very much enjoyed it. I enjoyed Vin and Bree's romance, their relationship. It was good. And then the last book I read in March is Past the Rush by Britt Stark. It's a football romance, and it deals with some grief. One night changed everything. Every hope and dream I had vanished with the touch of a hand. Whoever said love lasts forever obviously has never been in love with their brother's best friend. Ever since high school, I have been trying to replace the painful memories of my past with new ones. Forgetting every trauma was working until I ran into him, Conrad Stone, the man who broke my heart into a million pieces. I'd locked him out of my head for so long that when he stood in front of me, I could barely believe my eyes. I thought I was hallucinating until he spoke. "What are you doing here?" I should have been excited. I should have been ecstatic, but all I felt was anger. How could I let my first love back in my life after 13 years? This book had me crying. It did. It was a very quick read, very emotional, has some grief and trauma in it. It was published April 5th. So if you guys want to read it, I suggest you do that because it was really good. So yeah, that is all the books that I read in March. So no thank you. No thank you. Okay, we good? So I hope that you guys have found some new books to add to your TBR because I think it was a pretty good reading month. Yeah, it was a pretty good reading month. I read a lot of good books and ARC reads. Definitely ARC reads. Lots of good ARC reads. If you guys enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.